Welcome to the Vamos podcast. I am your host, Frei Rivera. This is the podcast where you earn more, learn more, and keep more so that you can give it away eventually. So you can help your community, your family, your friends, whatever. And I'm going to tell y'all about how I made 400, I can't even say it. I can't believe I'm posting this. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I was able to make 400 comma 000 thousand dollars USD on one deal on accident in a few hours worth of work. And I just want to go through it and just kind of tell y'all about it and see if anyone wants to do that themselves or is interested in that, or, feel free to reach out. I will leave my contact information below. Feel free to do it. Feel free not to do it. Feel free to talk about it. You don't believe it? Get on the phone with me. Get on the phone with me. If I'm able to do it, you're able to do it. You know what I mean? I've been in tech for the past 10, 15 years. The reason that I was able to make $400,000 on one transaction was literally I asked a colleague a question and he connected me with somebody. That somebody put me in the arena. I kind of called the plays. They ran the play and we were able to make $400,000 on one transaction. It was 2017. I was working at a tech company, a streaming video on demand company based in Los Angeles. It was doing okay, not really. And and I knew it. I was like, I don't know this inside and out, this company, this model inside and out. I know enough to know that this is not going the best that it can be going. And Amazon had reached out to me on a really bad day. I kid you not. I remember that day. I was like, wow, this is so much drama. This is so much BS. There's so much nonsense going on here. They reached out to me and they said, hey, would you like to talk to us? We'd love to talk to you. You get on the phone with them, do the phone interview. I wasn't really feeling it. And at the time, Amazon, I think, had a bad reputation. I think somebody had just like committed suicide off of the roof of one of the buildings or something. I kid you not. Like you can look this up. Like you can literally look this up. I'm pointing to the article. It was a couple years ago. Because when Amazon first started, it was very different than what it is now, I will say. And I had recruited a bunch of Amazon people, so I already knew the culture, I knew the leadership principles, I knew what kind of DNA an Amazon person was. One of my favorite clients and hiring leaders, he was from Amazon. I was very familiar with it. They reached out to me, do the phone interview, do really well. I ended up quitting that company because I just kind of, I just had enough. And I just like, "Hey, let me get off this ride because I want to get off this ride. Y'all are just tripping. Bless y'all, but y'all are tripping." And essentially, I got off the ride. I was just chilling. I actually went to Peru. How do you say that in English? Peru? You're going to Peru, bro? Peru? I can't even. That's so doesn't sound right. Peru. 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 The best food in the world to me. And I was there on a Kentucky. Kentucky is a group travel for under 30. I think it is 30. I was there. I met some wonderful people on the Kentucky. And the only reason I was going to stay in Peru because I have some family in Peru. I went to visit my father's grave for the first time. I got to meet my auntie and uncle that I never met before for the first time. I got to see my father's house first time, in the country of my father's birth first time. Amazing. If you've never been to Peru or you've been thinking about going to Peru, just go to Peru. Just go. Seriously, just go. And I was there for about 3 weeks. I loved it so much. I was gonna stay there. I was literally gonna stay there. I'm like, I'm staying here. This is it. I'm not gonna go back. I'll figure it out. And the only reason that I came back to the United States at that time was because I had an interview at Amazon. I had an on-site interview. I don't know, 3 or 4 people, 5 people, whatever it was. I was not interested at all because I already knew like all the drama. Again, somebody had like committed some not so great things because of the culture, allegedly, and I just didn't want to deal with it. But when they were interviewing me at the initial stages, because I wasn't interested, I gave them a stupid salary, stupid, dumb, like 30, 40% higher than what I was making now, and then some. And they did not bat an eye. They were like, sure, no problem. Okay, okay, player. as we say in LA. Okay, player. So I fly. I don't even remember what I did. I think I flew from Peru to LA and then LA to Seattle at the headquarters. Go over there, do the interview, knock it out of the park, ace it, ace it. If you are somebody that is interviewing at Amazon, if you're somebody that's interested in working at Amazon, I interviewed as an L6, no problem. No problem at all. I told my mentor after the fact. I didn't tell them before the fact. I told them after the fact. Yeah, I interviewed for an L6 role. I got it. It's no problem. If you're doing that, if you want to join tech, give me a call. I will literally show you the keys to the kingdom because it's not that hard. You just have to learn what they're looking for. And you have to align yourself with the right opportunity at the right level. That's it. I'm not trying to oversimplify something, but I was not interested. And I had only visited Seattle once prior, and I wasn't really like extensive. It was just with some friends. We were hanging out, nothing major. I don't even remember that I liked it that much. But I went up there, interviewed. They came back with an even higher salary that I had asked for, and I took the job. I took the job. I was just a little just I need to get out of here of LA. The pay isn't quite up to snuff as like Bay Area. I had already worked in the Bay Area for Google before that, and I took the job. I lived in an apartment my first year in Seattle at Amazon. It was really close to work. It's probably like 10-15 minute walk from work. I would like walk home for lunch, stuff like that. It was really convenient. It was really convenient. And I think closer to my first year, I just started thinking like, I don't want to be in this apartment for the rest of the time. I haven't paid rent in forever. I've always owned a home. I don't want to continue doing this. So I think closer to my second year, I ended up buying a house. I didn't do it alone. And I don't know how, I don't remember how, but I was cool with a gentleman. He was still working at Amazon. Great guy, great professional, hired under the wrong level for sure. For sure. As soon as I met him and started talking to him, I'm like, you're not at the right level. You're at a level 5, you should be at a level 6 at least. Very disappointed in that. Talking to this guy, lovely person. And I just asked the question, which I made $400,000 off of, which was, hey, I know you just bought a house. Did you like your agent? Oh man, nothing but praise. Love my agent. Wonderful. Great. Would you mind giving me their contact info? Would you mind putting us into contact? Not at all. Was their reply. Great. Love it. Puts me into contact. Get on the phone. But before getting on the phone, I did a little bit of research. And this is 2017, 2018, maybe Seattle, Washington area. And I started figuring out like, okay, you can't go west because if you go west, you're going to end up in the ocean. Seattle's right on the water, right? If you go south, you're looking at the Tacoma area, which is great. Nothing wrong with that. Near the airport, it's all good. But it didn't really fit my buy box at the time. Buy box meaning like by buy box, I mean here are the characteristics of the type of property that I'm looking for. This didn't fit those characteristics. It just didn't. I was looking for something that was more of a growth area. I was looking for something where people like me would be expanding into. People were like buying properties in Seattle proper, just north of Seattle, which is just like 10, 15 minutes out, stuff like that. And it just didn't feel right to me because the prices were so high. If you went east, then you're getting into like, I don't even, I'm not looking at a map. So if you're from Washington, don't come at me. But you're looking at stuff like, and I'm not going to say this right. I'm sorry, y'all. But it's like Snohomish, Smamish, Snoqualmie, stuff like that. I'm not living out there. I am not living out there. It was like rural, woodsy type of stuff, right? And then you have the north part, which is basically like going up to Vancouver, to Canada, stuff like that. And I thought that was like, okay, I could see this. I'm looking at the property values. Okay, there's a train that's being built from Seattle going up north. Great. Okay. And I just kind of came up with my own research because I started to see back then, probably still the same now, but just don't want to give out wrong information. But back then, the existing homes, single family homes, 3 bed, 2 bath, 3 bed, 1 bath, 2 bed, 1 bath, etc. They're really expensive, really expensive. And I think it's because, at least the ones that I was looking at the time, like homes in LA are built on little to no land. Homes in Seattle, Washington, they're built on quarter acre, half an acre. So that drives up the price quite a bit. The houses themselves, they need a lot of work. They need a kitchen redone, bathrooms redone, bedrooms, flooring, drywall. They just need a lot of work. And I just was like, this doesn't fit my criteria of I don't want to be doing all this work on a house that I might end up leaving in a few years or renting out. I don't need to be tricking out a house just to rent it out. That doesn't make sense. So I just started thinking like, okay, well, I don't need to be an expert on all this stuff, but I need a good agent, and I need a good agent that knows what they're doing. And luckily, again, my colleague at Amazon at the time, they since went on to another the big tech companies, and they're tearing it up as they should, because they're just a great person, professional, nice person. Shout out to you. I won't say their name just because whatever. But anyway, connect with the agent, and I started telling them my criteria. I want to be north of the city. I want to have at least 3 beds. I want to have 2 baths. It doesn't need to be a single family home, and I don't want a condo. And if possible, I don't want to have shared walls, because I know a lot of townhomes are being built, but I don't like shared walls. I don't want to be attached to the neighbor. I don't want to be able to hear them. If I hear you across the way, it is what it is, you know? So we have conversation. I tell them how much capital, liquid capital I have with me, what my budget is, etc. and so forth. Angela, my agent's name, she's like, great. When can we go look at properties? Whenever you want on the weekend. Because I have no car. Because in Seattle, I had no car. I didn't have a car my first year in Washington. She literally comes, she picks me up, which I was like, this is a great sign. Because if you're an agent, you're willing to come pick me up, take me around, show me around, whatever, that's a good agent. Because that is a good agent. She picks me up. I don't remember. No, she didn't bring me a coffee. I think I went around the corner because there was a coffee shop right across the street from me. Because it's Seattle, there's a coffee shop everywhere. We go. We look at, I want to say 1 or 2 properties. One of them I think was attached. The other one I think was just the layout and the square footage was just wrong, or just leveraged incorrectly according to what I was looking for. So I gave her my feedback because that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to give you feedback so you know where to like narrow down the search. And she's like, I got you. There's a property down the road from here, and I think it might be what you're looking for. Less than 5 minutes away, 10 minutes tops, in the city of, never mind, because I might go invest there more. And the city of Linwood. Nobody's listening to this garbage, this podcast. And we go check it out. We check out the model home because I think they had just finished the first phase. The property I ended up buying was in the second phase, and they still had a third phase to go through. And I think they were just starting second phase. So we go to the model home. I think it was a 3 bed, 2 bath, 1,900 square foot, tri-level home, garage, kitchen, dining, living room, stairs, bedrooms, bathrooms. And I liked it. I was like, hey, I dig this. This is cool. And I told my agent, I'm like, Angela, if you can get me that property right there, it wasn't directly in front, but it was like diagonally off to the side. And I said, if you can give me that property right there, for a couple reasons. They haven't finished it. It was literally just framed. That's it. There was no roof. There was no drywall. There was no stucco. There was nothing. I said, if you can give me that property right there, I'm down. I'm down to buy it. And this was the first day that we had gone to look at properties. And I told her, if you can give me that property right there, and I'll tell you the reason why I said that was because, and I had done no underwriting. I'll tell you the kind of underwriting that I did, which was garbage underwriting. It ended up working out, and I want you to do a better job at that. And I don't want you to do garbage underwriting. You deserve better than that. But I told her, if you can give me that property right there, there's no neighbors to the left of it. There's no neighbors behind it, because behind it there was like the main area playground where kids could like run around. There was playground off to the side. So there's nobody behind me. There was nobody to the left of the property, to the right of the property as I looked at it, because there was like a small parking lot. The parking lot was like 4 spaces or something. It was nothing. Nothing. So I really only, and I didn't have a neighbor in the front because that's where the road was. And the road was like kind of like one way, one way. So it was like a 2 lane road. And then directly in front of me was the road to get into the development. So I only had a neighbor to one side of me. It was also 500 square feet less than the model home that we saw. And I just did the math and I said, okay, for an extra 400 square feet, I'd have to pay another $50,000. And I don't think that's worth it, because this home, it's a brand new construction. I'm the first tenant owner ever. I'm like, I'd rather get this one because this is more of an entry level home than it is the 1,900 square foot one. So I kind of thought, Yeah, I'm giving up 500 square feet, but I'm also saving $50,000 and I'm gonna get, same amount of money at the end. And I just thought it was a better transaction. That was my underwriting. Oh, I'm sorry. Pardon me. I also saw that the mall was like 5 minutes away, around the corner, whatever, 5 minutes away. So I was like, great. There was a train being built from the city of Seattle to the city of Linwood that was going to be built probably 2020, a couple years from then, but really a couple years from now, from a municipal city standpoint, is really like 10 years away or something like that. They were also building a regional airport in like really close by, which I never got to use, which I'm really bummed out about because I think it came online after I left or once I started renting out my house or whatever. And the last thing was it was 2 hours away from the city of Vancouver in Canada. And a lot of people in Seattle, they go to Canada, they go to Vancouver like every weekend to go rock climb and do who knows what, right? That was my under. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. The last thing that knew was that there was a ton of park and rides in Linwood. So when there's a ton of park and rides, that means there's a ton of people commuting from somewhere to somewhere. And then from that somewhere, they commute back. So that means they all live there. And then lastly, there was so many new developments going on that I just thought, hey, this area is prime for development and growth, and it's in the path of progress. No calculations, no, like how much rent money could I get for this? How much is my interest payment, my PMI, my nothing, nothing. I got the money. Do you got the booking, like whatever. So my agent puts in the offer, and I didn't know this about new construction, but new construction is very different. I don't know if it's changed. I doubt it has changed, but you're dealing with the developer, and that developer has anywhere from a couple units to like several 50, 100 units that they need to kind of get rid of. And if you have the money, if you have the qualifications, like there is no competition. There's just like, you want it, you got it. Boom. Let's close. Boom. I didn't know that. And I ended up having the money liquid for the down payment. And at the last minute, I don't know why, I don't know what compelled me to do this. I ended up borrowing the down payment from some entity at a lower interest rate, and I got the house. And the house was so early in development that I was able to pick out like the finishings, the tile, like everything. I told them like I want to be able to pick all that out for myself. I didn't really care. I really didn't care. They were not that the finishings were that not that much different than the other ones, but I just was like, I'm buying this. I'm gonna pick the finishings. They didn't care. They did whatever finishings I wanted. So I get the house, I move in. I ended up moving out of my apartment in Seattle. That was the first time I hired moving people. I got the U-Haul myself, and it was wild because they left the ramp out in the parking lot. This lady didn't see the ramp on a U-Haul. You like kind of take the ramp out, you leave it out. And I told him, I'm like, yo, put the ramp back in because somebody might run that over. And guess what happened? Somebody ran it over in their brand new Jeep Grand Cherokee. And she's coming out of the car like, what the F and this and that and the third and whatever. And I'm just like, what did you do? Like, I don't even know. I'm not here. I'm not, whatever. She literally ran over the ramp. Her gas tank, just all the gas shot out. And it was bad. It was so bad. And she ended up being, it's not funny. It's just so surreal. She ended up being a double amputee. And I just was like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't even know what I said to her. I was pretty pissed at the mover. Nothing ended up happening to me, but and I was just like, dude, only this could happen to me. Then what happened after that was it started to snow lightly in the city of Seattle, which never happens. And I ended up moving to Linwood, Washington. I stayed there for 2 years. I ended up house hacking the place to people who never showed up. It was really weird. They were rock climbers who would like stop by on the way to Vancouver or sleep overnight or whatever, like very minimal. I was never in town, so I never really crossed paths with them, but they would cover about 60 to 70% of my mortgage. I lived there for 2 years because I figured out that once you live somewhere for 2 years on a property, you're eliminating your capital gains tax. You're basically eliminating that for the first 2 years. Once you sell a property after that, like, up to a certain point, and you need to figure that out, what that is or what the rate is or what have you. So capital gains taxes are levied on earnings from the sale of assets like stock or real estate based on the holding term and the taxpayer income level. The tax is computed using the difference between the asset's sale price and its acquisition price, and exception to it's subject to different rates. But I don't want to skip ahead, but I once I learned that, didn't talk to a CPA. This is so bad. I can't believe I'm sharing this. Didn't talk to a CPA, didn't talk to a real estate attorney, didn't talk to a tax attorney, didn't confirm any of this. I didn't even listen to Bigger Pockets back then, which I don't know if it was around back then. But I'm like, okay, capital gains tax, 2 years. You got to live in the property 2 years. After that, you can avoid capital gains tax. I think it's like 250 or 200 single. And if you're married, you get to write off like up to 400K or something thereabouts. So I'm living in the property, I buy the property, freaking property again, tri-level, garage, foyer, stairs, kitchen, dining area, living room, balcony, stairs. On the main level, there was also a washer, dryer, half bath. You go to the third level, there were two bedrooms, one full bathroom, and then the master bathroom that was way too big. It was like my master bedroom was like way too big. I don't even know why you made it that large with a bathroom, full bathroom. And I had an HOA too, which I was just like, y'all are tripping. Why do you want this much money? Anyway, I lived there for 2 years. The only investment I made into the property, besides like, because I didn't pay the down payment myself. I borrowed it at a really low interest rate. And I didn't buy more property there, which I should have because I made out really well. But the only investment I made was about maybe 2 grand for the washer dryer. It was really nice washer dryer, brand new. It's just that was my first time buying a washer dryer brand new, like or at all, really. Because growing up, I didn't have a dryer. We had a washer like a few years into my adolescence, and then we just air dried everything, sun dried, whatever you want to call it, right? So I bought a washer dryer. It was like 2 grand, and then I bought roller shades for every window in the house basically. And honestly, there were so many windows in that home. There was like it was double digits. It was like 13, 15, 17, 19, something like that. Something ridiculous like that, right? Cool. That was like 3,500, 4,500, something like that. So I'm into the house $9,000, something like that. I end up renting out two of the rooms, and I end up paying about 20 to 30% of the mortgage myself, and the rest coming from the tenants who like never showed up, never moved in. They didn't even want to stay there. They just wanted somewhere to like they can like shower, go to the bathroom, and like yeah, it was fine. I never ran into them, by the way. It was so weird in retrospect. So I'm into this house, $9,000. I end up meeting somebody. I end up moving back home to LA after 2 years because I met my capital gains obligation 2 years. I rented out. First year was cool. Second year, increase the rents, got a new tenant. Cool. The first tenant was fine. I think they just ended up buying their own home or something like that, or and I think the last tenant I had, they were like a law school student or something thereabouts. It was a gay couple. I don't care. Yeah, love it. They had a dog. I didn't care. And I ended up renting out the place, and I didn't get all the rent that I should have. And I don't know, I don't exactly remember the story, but I was like, I'll just make it up on the renewal. It's fine. It's all good. I just wanted a tenant in there. And then COVID happened. Can't increase rents. Can't evict anybody. Not that I wanted to evict anybody or was going to evict anybody. And I didn't put any further money into the house, really. Like, truly. Some carpet maybe needed to be replaced, or the stairwell carpet needed to be replaced, etc. Most of the place was hardwood floors, except for the bedrooms, and except for the stairs, and except for the third level. It was all carpet up there, except for the bathrooms, of course. And I think I reached out to my agent in year 4 because it was COVID. And I was like, I want to get out of this. I like to sell. I like to explore the market because I saw where the market was going, which was basically like it's going up. People are moving, buying places, etc. And I just was seeing what's going on, and I'm like, well, I want to kind of take advantage of this. So like, why not? I remember I reached out to Angela, my agent, who I bought the house in a day, because I showed up for the open house, and I told her, hey, give me that one in a day. Boom. And we didn't like finish the whole transaction in a day. I was like, put an offer, get that one. I want that one. We put an offer, a couple weeks, escrow, etc. Right? But I literally, we went out, saw two properties, didn't like them, saw a third property, bought that property, got it in a day, decided on it in a day. And I reached out to her, I think like 6, 9 months before, and I'm like, hey, Angela, my tenant's lease is up in December, January, whatever it was. And she's like, hey, it's a little bit too far out. Why don't you reach back out to me in like the fall? Sure, no problem. Reach back out to her in the fall. It was like August, September, October, something like that. When I talked to my agent, she was just like, dude, we're gonna sell this house like really fast, really, really fast. And I remember we had so many calls and emails. It was a few hours worth of work, but she called it. She and I just kind of like game planned for a few hours, if that. And she's like, hey, we got an offer. You were asking for 800. This person's willing to give you 975. You're asking for nine. They want to give you 975. They added a contingency for another 50,000. And I was like, no, we don't need any more money because this house might not appraise for that much. And then we're in a deeper hole. And at the same time, if I go over this offer, I'm going to start running into like taxation issues, and I'm still within the capital gains exception for living there for 2 years. Dope. I just say, just take it. And that person, we accepted the offer, and I bought the property in one day, the day that I went to go look at it, and I just told her, hey, give me that one, whatever, what have you. And then we sold it in a day. So it was literally like I bought the property in a day, I sold the property in a day. And everything went well. The person I think was like some sort of software engineer. They were single, they were in tech, similar like me, single male, buying a property, whatever, what have you. Everything goes through. We get like a fat old check, and that was like during COVID or like the tail end or like it was during COVID. I'm not gonna remember everything exactly as I recalled it or it happened, but I ended up making like $400,000 off of that one transaction because I had bought it at 490. I'm looking at the property right now. What if they sold it? Oh my God. It's a 3 bed, 2.5 bath, 1,500 square feet property. Here we go. It was listed for 489,950, which is what I bought it for. And it was sold February 9th, 2018. And then I didn't list it for that. I listed it for this. March 1st, 2022. Oh, I listed it for 680 and it sold for $875,000. So I made that much money, whatever that is. And the money hit my account, $400,000 or thereabouts. And I remember feeling so weird. I had no one to celebrate with. I had no one to talk to about it. I didn't know what to do with the money, and I didn't know what to do tax wise. I didn't know anything. The only thing I did do was I left my debit card at home because that's where my money was. It was in my checking account. And I left it at home because number one, I didn't want to lose it. Number two, I didn't want people to do fraud. Number three, I didn't want someone to make me take out thousands of dollars in like some sort of robbery or something like that, which was silly. It was so silly. And again, I exchanged a few emails with my agent, maybe a few phone calls, maybe putting together like certain documents. But I don't know why, but I just keep on having this thing in my head, which was I was like, I spent literally 10 hours doing this and I made close to like, if not exceeded $400,000 when at the time I was working like 5 a.m., 6 a.m. to about 2 a.m. Monday through Saturday, making good money. But I made like my salary back 2, 3x on 10 hours worth of work. And even then, I didn't think to repeat this cycle over and over or keep doing it over and over. I just didn't. There were certain things in my life where I had a good idea, I had a proven model or whatever, and I just didn't continue doing the thing. And it was so silly of me. But that was how I made $400,000 on one transaction. And underwriting, I know I mentioned this before, and I'll say it right now, just because as a lesson. Let me do the lessons learned. So yeah, I made again. I don't regret this. I don't feel bad about this. Water off my back because there's nothing you can do, right? But there were a few things that I would have done differently, which was there's a couple of mistakes that I made, which was I didn't do what some folks would call a cost segregation study because I lived in there for 2 years. I rented it out the third and fourth year, so I owned it for a total of 4 years. I could have done a cost segregation study in year three or year four and got a bunch of cash out in terms of accelerated depreciation. Didn't do that. I learned about it, I think, a couple months after I sold my property. I think like 3, 6 months afterwards, I learned about a cost segregation study. And you can usually do that for like rental properties. So if you have a rental property and you need a cost segregation vendor or something like that, reach out to me. I'll put my contact information and I'll get you connected to somebody that is reputable, has a lot of integrity, very cost effective, and they could possibly even do their cost segregation study remotely, which a lot of them require you to do it in person, but you don't need to do it in person. And obviously, I learned a bunch about it because I said the next time I go through this scenario, and I have a rental property, I'm not gonna forego that opportunity because I didn't educate myself and I didn't surround myself with the right people. So that was one mistake. One lesson learned that I will say that I did correctly was it was a brand new construction. I literally like just finished brand new construction, brand new everything, all new every day. And everybody looked at me weird when I was like, I would like an inspection to be conducted on this property. And they were just like, what are you talking about? This is brand new. What do you mean? Why do you want a new, what are you talking about? And I was like, yeah, I would like an inspection done. I had to pay for it. I had to pay for it. Not really done. They found a few things wrong with the property. There was some flashing off on the roof. There was something wrong with like one of the windows. I'll never forget this. The master bathroom shower door was like a sliding kind of frost glass door or whatever, something like that. It was like bowed, so it wouldn't close properly for whatever reason. It was installed incorrectly or whatever. There was also some like minor electrical, there was just very minor things. And unless you did the inspection, I would have had to have covered it. I would have had to have found the vendor. I would have had to have paid for all that out of pocket. So new construction built in 1943, 45, 59, 69, 75, whatever. Just get an inspection. Doesn't matter if it's new construction. Doesn't matter. I already talked about the cost segregation study. Other lesson learned. I borrowed the down payment. I had the down payment liquid. What I should have done was I should have just got another house and I should have just had that one because I probably could have doubled my takeaway. But you shouldn't kick yourself over the things that you didn't do as well as you could have. You just learn from it. And that's what I did. But yeah, I literally made $400,000 from that property. I took half of that. I invested into another property that in Long Beach and I turned that into what was that like 375. So literally took about 200. I think it was 189. I think it was 189,000, and I turned that into 375 or so. And that was split up with like the various people that needed to be paid out and things of that nature. But where in your W-2 job have you been able to make $400,000 on a few hours worth of work? Maybe you're in sales or medical sales or something like that, right? But like Jim Rohn says, like you can work on your job and make a living, but if you work on yourself, you'll make a fortune. And I didn't work on myself, but I made I made a little. Um, but if you really want to be good at real estate, if you want to be good at anything entrepreneurial, starting your own business, running your own business, whatever it is, if you work on yourself, you're definitely going to make a fortune because I did that $400,000 profit on accident. I didn't know what I was doing. I know what I'm doing now. I know what I'm doing now. I'm having a great time. I'm actually quitting my job on Monday. Today's Friday. Quitting quitting my job, never gonna look back. And I'm debating whether to move to the state of Florida or move to South America and travel for the holidays and then land in Florida once I figure that out. I don't know. Stay tuned. I can't believe I just shared that here. But literally, that's how I made this money. I literally asked a colleague a question. Do you like your agent? Why do you like your agent? Tell me about your agent. And literally, like, it was literally like a 5, 10 minute. It was not even 10 minutes because I asked P, I'll just call him P. I asked P, like, as we were settling into a conference room before a meeting, and that was it. There wasn't really a ton of discussion. It was just like, hey, I heard you just bought a house. You had a good experience. You like your agent. Would you use them? Yes, 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 yes. Hook me up. Put me on. Great. And yeah, like you can work all the overtime you want in a given year. You're never going to make that. And it's going to be pretty hard. And if you do, you're going to be working a lot of hours. Don't you want to make more money with less time and effort? See your family, see your kids, see your loved ones a lot more than your colleagues and your clients and stuff? To each their own. That's how I was able to make $400,000 on one transaction on a few hours, 10 hours tops worth of work. And I know you can too. You just kind of have to put your name in the hat. You have to put your Andy, can we put a clip of like Harry Potter, the name sorting or something? But anybody can do it. It's literally math. And if you know how to underwrite, you could probably do it a lot more effectively than I did at that time. But I had enough wherewithal because I didn't know about real estate. I had been invested in real estate before, but not to the extent and expertise that I needed to. However, I had enough to where I felt comfortable getting into the deal. I felt comfortable enough to ask the right questions. I felt comfortable enough to talk to my agent, ask. And honestly, there were some times where I was just like, hey, Angela, I don't know what's going on here. Explain it to me. Explain it to me like I'm a dolphin, you know? And there's a kind of level of humility that you have to undertake because you don't know everything. You're not going to know everything. And you're basically just at the mercy of your agent, your lender, whatever it is that we're talking about, but you have to put yourself out there. And firstly, before putting yourself out there, you have to put yourself into what a mentor of mine, a lot of mentors of mine, they like to call the arena. Unless you're in the arena, unless you're out there, if you're somebody who is single, you're looking for Mr. Right, Mr. Right, Mrs. Right, uh, Mr. Wrong, Mrs. Wrong, whatever it is we're talking about. You're never gonna meet them if you're at home sitting on the couch twiddling your thumbs. For those on the audio only, I'm literally twiddling my thumbs on this. And you're never gonna meet them that way. Like, I'm never gonna meet a man. I'm never gonna meet a girl. Okay, you're here playing StarCraft all day. You're here playing World of Warcraft all day. You're here watching Bridgerton all day, all weekend. Like, when are you ever gonna meet somebody? You're never gonna meet somebody like that. That's what I'm saying. Like, you gotta put yourself out there. You gotta put yourself in the arena. Like Gladiator. You get out there, you might take over Rome because of your performance, or you might not make it back. But in the arena, as long as you make it back, whether you have both of your hands, all 10 of your digits, you still made it back. That's the most important thing. You have your life. You could always kind of not recoup your digits or hands or arms or anything. A little morbid, but we aren't literally in the arena in the Roman Colosseum stuff. We're just doing math and like, all right, if I buy this place at 489, 950 at this interest rate with this down payment, I'm gonna have to pay this much money in terms of principal, mortgage, interest, taxes, etc. I'm gonna have to pay this much. It's $2,600 or something. I think that's what it was. My payment was. Great. If I rent two of the rooms, I'm gonna get this much, and I'm gonna end up paying this much, and I'm gonna pocket that money, and I'm gonna save that money, or I'm gonna invest that money, whatever it is, right? So there's a much better way to underwrite properties. I guarantee you, please trust me when I say that. There's a better way to underwrite properties than what I did, which is another lesson learned, which is learn how to underwrite. It is not an intimidating thing. It's not hard to underwrite. It's very easy to learn. There isn't an exact formula because everyone does it differently. Everyone's looking at different things, but there's better underwriting than that house has no neighbors. The mall here, there's a Costco 5 minutes away. There's a train being built. There's a bunch of park and rides being built. Like that's all qualitative information. Underwriting, for the most part, it is qualitative. Qualitative being things that are not data points and numbers and figures. It's more like what I just said. There's a mall here, there's a Costco here, there's a lot of people moving here, there's a lot of construction happening. Those are all qualitative indicators. If you told me stuff like the population growth is growing, the number of constructions happening here are not even keeping up pace with the number of new home units that need to be built. Those are all quantitative things. Hey, this area is short 1,500 units. That's quantitative. Hey, the amount of people moving out of the city of Seattle, out of Kings County, is 20%. And a majority of those people are buying up the property north of Seattle. That's quantitative. That's what I'm saying. There's a better way to do underwriting than what I did. I just got lucky. I'll be frank. I got lucky. I knew enough to put myself in a dangerous position, and then I was able to align myself with people who knew more than I did, that I could bounce ideas off of, that I could ask questions of, that could guide me. But at the end of the day, like I ended up putting myself in the driver's seat. I just needed somebody to tell me how to get there, to guide me to there. And if you don't even put yourself in that situation, you're never going to do that. If you want to save your money to financial freedom, like good luck. I've never heard of anybody that retired early because they were saving their money. They penny pinched. What is that? Fire? Fire? Financial independence. These people are like pinching pennies on a daily basis to the point where they're waiting to retire at like 60, 65, 70. And I'm like, you haven't enjoyed any of this wealth. You've just been putting it away, putting it away, putting it away. And I think subconsciously, I just was like, I don't like, I was like, I agree with that, but it's not done in the way that I think it should be done. And I literally, you know, oh, shoot, I forgot this part. I got a property management company while I rented out the place because I moved back to California, back to Los Angeles, and I needed somebody to look after the property. And I ended up getting a property management company. You have to pay them, of course. It is a business expense. And another thing I did wrong was I didn't put the property into an LLC. So in case something happened on the premises or it burned down or loss of life, loss of limb, loss of whatever, they would have come after me and they would have took my ass to the cleaners. Truly. Like I had no asset protection there, nothing. I owned the house outright in my name. It was not in like some sort of LLC to give me like protection. There was no piercing the corporate veil, none of that. It was just my name. So that's another lesson learned. If you own a property, audit in an LLC, quick deed claim it or something like that. But luckily nothing happened. Like luckily nothing happened, right? And obviously it was new construction, so I wasn't really worried about that. But you never know. You never know. And that's something else that I would change or a lesson learned. Another lesson learned was I probably could have accessed the equity in the house a lot sooner had I done like a HELOC or a cash out refinance or something like that, and I could have probably got another property and another property, another property. But you live and you learn. It's all good. And I wouldn't change anything. Like I missed out on the cost segregation money. I missed out on the HELOC and all that other stuff. But that's why I enjoy real estate so much. There's always something to learn. There's always something different to do. I did not go to any masterminds. I didn't go to any meetups. I didn't even think about learning more about real estate or as Lieutenant Aldo Rain in Inglourious Bastards told Hugo Stiglitz, you're a great amateur, but it's time for you to go pro. And you get the clip of what I just said. I literally described the whole thing. I'll try to get it for you too, but if I can't, then you should. And I need to wrap this up because it's 1 in the morning. I need to get up in like 5 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. And I probably need to drink a bunch of coffee, but I just need to go to the gym. I feel really great. 6 hours if I get up at 7 and then I can't work out. Shoot. I probably shouldn't have done that. I just wanted to get this out because I needed to do something. And what else would I say? Get in the arena. If you don't know the math, if you don't know how to underwrite, go to YouTube. If you're still not convinced, if you're still not fully confident in your skills, reach out to me. I will either connect you with somebody, help you learn, or find somebody that you trust, know, like, and trust, and preferably has done it before. If not, just somebody who's good at math, somebody who's good at Excel spreadsheets, somebody that can follow directions in terms of a underwriting framework. And it's not hard, I promise you. It's literally not. It's just kind of like, what are all the expenses? What are the whatever? It's not that hard. It's really not that hard. Comps, learning how to comp, not that hard. Make another video on both of those subjects, underwriting, comping, whatever. Everyone does it differently, but it's really not hard. What is hard, and what I would say is the hardest thing that I would say, in my opinion, is getting out of your own way and having the confidence to put yourself in the arena so that you can make something happen. And if you're listening to this, especially if you've listened to this at this point, you can definitely do some stuff because I know that you're motivated. You might have a family, you might have children that you're raising right. And what I would tell you is, I don't want to go too deep into this, and I don't mean to be offensive or anything, but if you're somebody who has kids and you say stuff like, "Well, I can't do that. I have kids." Why don't you frame it in the opposite of that? And you know what? I have to do this because I have kids. $400,000 to some is nothing. $400,000 to some others is a lot, and it is a lot. I would say it's a lot of money. $400,000, unfortunately, depending on the school, could pay for a few folks' college tuition. If you have two kids, three kids, whatever, that'd probably cover them, right? But there's certainly different ways to turn that 400K into 600K, 800K, a million, amele, 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 whatever. And honestly, I think the part that I really enjoyed the most was figuring it all out and truly like learning, growing from it, and just being able to like make that money, of course, and then take half of that money, put it into a home in the LA area, which like a lot of people aren't able to do. I did that from scratch. I did that myself. I didn't borrow anything from anybody. I literally took half of that money and I parked it into like another property that I recently sold, and I'll tell more about that. But it's not hard. It's really not hard. The hardest part is just you getting out of your own way and thinking it's possible for you, your family, and your loved ones. That's the hardest part. And I know if you stuck around this long, you're very capable of that. And just hit me up. My calendar's in the description. Calendar's in there. Just hit me up. Book some time. 15 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. If I can help you, great. If I can, great. If I can point you in the direction of somebody who can, great. If I can't, great. I mean, at the very least, like, somebody who's done this before, you can ask questions of and who can potentially help you. So, as Arnold said to Predator, I'm here.
Come on, come on. Kill me, I'm here, kill me!
Anyway, dear listener, um, I hope that this was helpful. I hope this was fruitful. And I hope you enter the arena of real estate soon, because if I'm able to do that, you're able to do that. If I'm able to make that much amount of money, you're able to make that amount of money. It wasn't hard. I gave you everything, the good, the bad, the ugly underwriting that was absolutely silly. And if I could do that, you could do that. And I have a new goal, which is just basically to make 10x that. So instead of $400,000, my new goal is to make $4 million on one transaction, because 10x is easier than 2x. For a book, I'll make a video about that. And it's just a goal that I have to do before I'm 40. So I have 3 years to do that. Don't do the math. And yeah, I just hope you're doing well. Hope this gives you confidence of some bonehead who was able to make $400,000 in one transaction. And you deserve it, because you could do it too.
My nigga, you could do it too.
And I'm gonna go to bed because I need to go to bed because I need to get up for this mastermind. And I'll talk to you soon. If you have any questions, reach out, whatever way, WhatsApp, Instagram, YouTube. I'm Fred I am. All the tags will be in whatever this platform is. And I'll talk soon.